out of the way, you know, just getting ourselves out of the way, our little ego self, so that we can create at this incredibly different kind of level that we've ever imagined before. And I got to tell you, Judy, it's funny because I've talked about this before, that I have these dreams that they're car dreams. And my car is either going uphill and it's chugging along and I can hardly, you know, make it up the hill. Or one night I'll have a dream where my car is gliding down the hill really fast. And one time I was riding with Judy and our car was spinning all around and we spinned off and we went off into the ocean. You know, but it kind of, it's interesting. It kind of guides whatever's happening in my life. My car kind of tells me. So last night I had a dream. This is just reminded me, I wasn't even going to say this, but I had a dream. Now this is very interesting. Nobody was driving the car, we were in the back seat. so, you know what that tells me? I mean, what we're just talking about, it finally tells me that I think that we've let go of a little bit of control, you know, and the car got there fine, and we're in the back seat just gliding along. It tells me that God took that steering wheel, right? And that's what we're talking about here, is that creating at that level, you know, of our life where, you know, but you're right, do we do it all the time? Maybe in a glimpse, you know, I'd love to be able to just sit back and just have God glide my life and, you know, I would just be fine. We don't do that all the time. You know, the first time I ever heard about consciously creating your life was probably in the 70s, and I think I read James Allen, it was As a Man Thinketh. And I remember after being in a fundamental church, wow, you know, we have this power. We have this power, we can create. And I imagined myself, you know, getting out of debt and having Mercedes and, you know, doing all this stuff. That's, you know, I was thinking, we can create, we can create. And as I, you know, evolved a little bit and was able to, I don't know, I hate to say evolved a little bit because I'm still there, you know, but as I was on the journey, I started to realize that it was about more than that. It was about knowing that there was something bigger than my ego creating what I wanted in life. You know, I like what James Allen said, that he said the mind is the master weaver of both the inner garment of your character and the outer garment of your circumstance. So to think that the way that we think creates our character and it creates our circumstances around us. So if we can really create, I got to thinking last night, if we can really, really create, you know, can we live a life with no regrets? If we get to the end of our life where we have no regrets. And I came across this book. There's no, you know, coincidences. It always is what I'm looking for. You know, this book. And it was written by Bonnie Ware. And it was the top 5 regrets of the dying. And, you know, I was fascinated with it. I said, what would they be? You know, what are the 5 regrets? Because how that would help us, you know, to live our life. And maybe, you know, we can listen a little bit about what they have to say to co-create our life in a different way. So, you know what the number one regret is? It's the courage to live authentically, to live your life the way that you need to live your life, not to listen to everybody else all the time. Can you even think what that's like? Yeah? Can you imagine as a child, you know, what you were told you should be? That's what we're talking about here, is, you know, pleasers. We're talking about pleasers, codependents, and I know there's a lot of you out there. I know I've been there. You know, what if we didn't have to do that? You know, it's about expressing the desire, that creative impulse in you, because your creative impulse is unique. It's not the same as everybody else's, and sometimes we just get on board with everybody else because it's something we're expected to do. You know, what if you were told you couldn't paint anymore, you couldn't sing music, you know, but you stepped out and you did it. You did it. See, that's what we're talking about. There are people that go to their deathbed that have never expressed what they want to do in their life, or they haven't been who they want to be, which is even more important. It's about not being able to share the God-given gifts that we were given. And it's not too late. You know, we can do that right now. You know how old we are. We start. They're saying the you know, retirement age is perfect to start new things. Sharon, aren't you starting piano? I think that's so cool. You know, you're starting to play the piano. You know, that's a gift that you probably have underdeveloped in you that you were starting to reach out. You know, the courage to live true to yourself, not what was expected. To live authentically, to live in self-respect, self-love, self-compassion. You know, and quit taking the hurtful words of others in. See, that's huge. All of us have heard hurtful words from other people, and we've been wounded and acted from that our whole life. And our life has been based, we've created a whole life from what other people have told us that we are. And I love what the Buddha, there was a story about the Buddha, and some man is shouting at the Buddha, and he says, if someone gives you a gift, and you choose not, actually a disciple said to the Buddha, why do you put up with that? You know, why? And he says, if someone gives you a gift, and you choose not to receive it, then who does it belong to? Same thing with words. Who does it belong to when somebody tells you you can't be, that belittles you, tells you you can't do what you want to do with your life? This is about living authentically of who we are, breaking out of the patterns. The lady in her book was in a bad marriage for her whole life, 60, 70 years. She, well, let's see, 70, I don't know, it was a long time. She was in this marriage. And she went to her deathbed after the guy died. She goes, why didn't I just break out? Why didn't I live the life I wanted to do? I guess he was domineering, he was an abuser. And she never did it. She never did it before. And she said to Bonnie, as Bonnie was his hospice nurse, and she would go to each of the patients, and she would listen to him and listen to him. And she said, why? You know, listen to me. She said, don't ever, ever live somebody else's life. Have the courage to be true to yourself. Number 2, I wish that I hadn't worked so much. I wish that I had more balance in my life. And I think that's true of men, maybe more than women, maybe not always, but in those days, that the guy was a little bit older, and he was on his deathbed, and he said, you know, I gave up so much trying to get this and trying to get that. You know, I wanted to have a house, I wanted to do things for my family, but I ended up empty inside, and my family never got to know me. It's about addictions here. That's what addictions are about. You know, the overbalancing in life. You know, you're weighed down on one side. You're not free. You're not balanced. That was a huge one. Number 3 was the courage to express my feelings. There are people that go through life that are never able to express who they are, to let others see them. See, we all want to be known. Believe it or not, we put up walls, but we want to be known. We want people to know us. We want people to care for us. And there's many of us who can't share who we are, and we won't let others see us. And we hold so much inside of us. This is about expressing ourselves. This is a lesson in expressing who you are. You know, I remember, I was thinking back about this, and I remember being a little girl, and there was a young, I think I was in 1st grade, and there was a little girl in the class that nobody talked to. She was the odd one, kind of. You know, I think everybody can kind of relate to either having somebody in your class or being that person. And nobody would talk to her. Nobody really knew her. And I remember, you know, befriending her and taking her home. And I have to admit, I didn't want other people to see in the class. I was still at that age where it mattered, my peer pressure. But secretly, I would ask her to my house. And I go back now, and I have to forgive myself for doing that. But I had her at my house, and I went to her house, and I got to know her. And she was funny, and she was lovely, and laughing, and she was incredible. And it makes me, you know, really think, if people would know each other, they would open up, they would talk to other people, they would get the gifts of everybody in life. But we label somebody and say, that person's a little odd, you know, little odd person there, you know. And it's really sad. It happens in workplaces. It happens at schools. It happens in churches. It happens everywhere. People want to be known. That's an invitation for all of us, you know, to express your feelings, you know, and then let others express their feelings to you too. Get to know everybody, you know, and also, this is huge. It's to be able to tell people how you feel if you love them. I'm not saying, when I say express your feelings, I'm not saying if you think you're mad at somebody, go tell them you're mad. I don't believe that. What I do believe, though, is that if you care deeply about someone, they need to know it. You know, the story in the book that Bonnie wrote was that the little man died and had this desire for his family to love him and to know him, and they didn't. They never did. And it was too late for him to say anything. He tried to, and he couldn't say it. He had gone so long, and the family members couldn't say anything back to him. So he died lonely. That we take people for granted, you know? We take people for granted. And so I guess my invitation for this one is to be able to see the people that you love in your life and have the courage, because it takes courage to express your feelings, to be known to people. Have that courage and step out and tell your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your friends, I love you, no matter what. I love you. It's important. It is so important. We never know. Number 4, this kind of goes along with it. I wish that I would have stayed close with some friends. I wish I would have kept the friendships. Many people, as you age, especially, lose their friendships. They lose touch with the people. Co-creating a meaningful life means friends. It means that you are connected deeply with each other. And sometimes as time passes, you forget that. And you go about doing your life and then you think back. Wow, I love that friend. So if you have a friend that you haven't talked to for a while and you'd love to, call them. This is an invitation. Pick up the phone, find them, call them, tell them what a great friend they were in your life. I thought about this and I have a list that I need to go call. I want to do that. These talks are really good for me because, see, I do everything, because, the truth is that we get lonely, especially toward the end of our life. And this is so good for you guys too, the young ones. You think, that you're not going to get there. And you do quickly. You do. Don't you guys can admit? So it's so important that we keep up the friendships that we love, And the truth is loneliness. I love this because it's not really a lack of a lot of people. Loneliness is just not a lack of people, but of understanding and acceptance. So if you don't have tons of friends, it's okay. Find 1 or 2 that care and love you, no matter what. No matter if you're a goofball, no matter, I don't know where I said that word. My husband used to call me a goofball. No matter what, they love you. And they understand. They might not agree with everything, but they love you. They see who you are. Everybody needs friends like that. Those who love and accept you as you are. So the invitation there is to create connections. Right now, find who you love, create that, and to get those friendships, right? Everybody's, well, I don't have that kind of person in my life. I can't find that. Sometimes people say, I wish I had a friend like Judy. The truth is, be a friend then. Go find somebody and be that friend to them. Day and night, a 2 a.m. friend is what we call it. Call you at 2 a.m. in the morning. Not drunk, okay? That sounded like a 2 a.m. friend. I'm talking about somebody that is like, when you're devastated and you need to talk and you can't sleep at night and you're going, help me. That's the kind of friends that we need. And the last one is, I wish I would have let myself be happier. Why did I sweat the small stuff in life? There's so much little details that we get all caught up in. We get caught up in this and that, Not that you have to be ecstatically happy, but you need a sense of well-being in life, and we all deserve it, and we all are entitled to it, and we all can create it together. We can create personally and then create it out there. We're entitled to be happy, to have a sense of well-being in our life, no matter what. And the truth is that all of us can have it. Even though you're not happy, there's a sense of joy. I think I talked about this either last week or in a class. I just remember saying that you can have an overwhelming bubbling of joy no matter what's going on. And maybe it was in Eckhart Tolle. And it's important, I'll say it again here, is that I have spent a period of my life, not a long period, but a time of depression, grayness. I couldn't get out of. I just couldn't get out of. But at the end, somehow in my mind, I knew I would get through it. I knew that there would be this sense of happiness and this sense of joy. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you are going through a low point in your life, know that there is another side. And you don't have to fold. That there is a bubbling over of joy down there somewhere when the fog moves. When you can remove the blocks, there is a incredible magnificence, a bubbling of joy that comes through you when you let go and let God drive the car, so to speak, and you quit trying to control it. That's why my other cars are running around like this and they're twirling all over. I'm trying to control everything. The minute I let go, guess what? Jesus, take the wheel. The reason I say that doesn't sound like something I would say, but there's a song called Jesus, Take the Wheel. Okay. So, anyway, there is an incredible, beautiful life, that remains, at the end of anything that we go through. So it's about just allowing your life to be. It's about feeling, all of the feelings that you're feeling, but yet knowing that you'll get through it in a happy, happy, happy way. You know, it's about this morning, actually it wasn't this morning, it was last night, I was stressed. While you were in your shower, Matt, I was stressed out about a salad. Okay? A salad! I'm sitting there thinking, how am I, they don't have the ingredients. I'm supposed to have this party today. I'm supposed to make this darn salad. You know, we didn't have any beans. I was making this black bean salad. We don't have the beans. You know, and I was kind of stressed out about it. And I was babysitting at the time, and Lily, my little granddaughter, 4 years old, so she's in bed, and she goes, Grandma, you know, come upstairs, you know, and I'm going, oh, I got to get the salad done, and I don't have these, so I went up there, and she said, could you lay down by me? And she usually doesn't do this, she doesn't do this, and I lay down there, and she starts to trace my face, right, and so she says, she goes, what letter is this, you know, and then she said, is this a sunshine, you know, and then, you know, she's making pictures on my face, right, so that I can guess what they are, and then I'm doing it for her, and I got to thinking, I was stressing out about a damn salad when I had love and life right there, and yet I had to hesitate to go up. And so that's what I'm talking about, you know, what are the details, you know, the details of a darn salad, you know. So, you know, look at what's important in your life, you know. What's important? And the truth is that love is important. Connection is important. You know, saying I love you is important. Just being there for each other, you know, creating a community like this is important. Don't sweat the small stuff, and quit judging yourself if you do. That's a really big one, you know, is finally, if you go to your deathbed with regrets, you know, then hug yourself, it's okay, you know, we're all gonna have them probably. We've lived enough life where we wish we would have done things a little bit differently, you know, so hug yourself a little bit, you know, give yourself kindness and compassion first, because without giving it to you, you'll never be able to give it to other people out there. So that's my prayer, we're about out of time, is to know that you are consciously creating. Don't just create unconsciously. Know that you are creating with every thought. Know that you are creating with every cell in your body, and create it in the most incredible love that is available to us. Thank you for joining us.